So welcome everybody. So good to have you all here. Tonight's message is very simple. All is this, and there are no exceptions. All is this, and there are no exceptions. So every appearance is the wonder. Every appearance is the mystery. Doesn't matter if you would label it an unpleasant feeling or experience, or if it's labeled pleasant and enjoyable is irrelevant, in that it's all this, because there's only this. And this can't be understood. It can't be known. I don't know it. Nkosi doesn't know it. It's just what's appearing as everything, but you couldn't say what that is. And it's more immediate. I noticed that oftentimes seekers will talk about as if it were off far away. Well, when I arrive, when I get to this place where you're at, or where, Peter Brown or, some non-duality teacher is at, then I'll, have arrived. And that's so not true. That's so not true. It's already here now. You're already fully it already. It's just that we don't think of everything as being it, like the dirt, the dust, the sky. We're so preoccupied and focused on our stories and achieving what we think we want, what the me wants, that we completely overlook the magic. The magic. I mean, I don't have a better word for it. So right now, if confusion is arising, that's it. If understanding seems to be arising, or resonance seems to be arising, that's it too. And there can be a sense of a me there, and that too would be this, appearing as a feeling of a separate me. It's not actually there, that feeling of a separate me, because where is it now? Look for that sense of separate me right now. See if you can find it. It can be imagined, or a feeling can show up like that feels like a separate me, no problem. But it doesn't mean that there's actually an individual separate me. The separation would have to be a real thing. So it turns out there was never anything to do. That whole imagined journey of seeking enlightenment or liberation is for no one. It's all an imagining. It's not any different than imagining a, you know, pretty girl or pretty guy or a lot of money or whatever that fantasy is going to do the trick. It's not anything different than that. It's just another wanting. The me is endless with its wants and its tries. So this is an open meeting. You're all invited to participate, comment, ask a question, or we can just sit in silence. It's all good. The illusion is that I know what's going on. I know what I am. I know what this is. I know there's things I want. I know. But there's only unknowing. So what you think you know is unknowing appearing as knowing. Good luck trying to figure that one out.
Could you say that again?
Yeah, it's unknowing appearing as knowing. And then I said, good luck trying to figure that one out. Because that would be this too. That's when Nkosi talks about there's no escape. Whatever you're experiencing is already this. It's like it beats you to the punch. It's already this before you even open your mouth. It's already this before you have your next thought. This is here prior to all stories.
It's so crazy because when you say that, it's just so obvious, you know, it's like, it feels almost like there's a blip of like knowing or whatever, of like, yes, or, you know, oh, it feel the thought experiences that I guess immediately comes in yammering about it. And then it's like, but it's like, so it always kind of has this sense of feeling like you're on the edge of something. I don't know, but I love hearing you talk about it.
Yeah, it's just a resonance. It either speaks to your heart, if we can speak like this, or it doesn't. And for most of society, it doesn't. They would have, what the heck? But for a few of us, there's something about it that's just like a fresh, clean shower. It just feels like home again. Oh, all that efforting to try and get what I thought I wanted. And what I was looking for was always right here, hiding as just what's appearing. Like you would never suspect, you know, the desk, if you're leaning on a desk right now, or the chair you're sitting, you would never suspect that that's it. It's like the mind discounts that. Yeah, I know there's a chair there. I know there's a desk, there's walls, blah, 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 but that's not what I'm looking for. Well, actually it is.
And maybe the only thing separating us from that are those illusions of knowing something.
Mhm.
Yeah. Bingo. It's just so ingrained. You know, knowing is what this whole world is based on, is knowing. I mean, that's the first thing when you, right, apparently show up is, I know I'm a me. I know I'm here. That's it. Once you know you're a me or you know you're here, because you're not. And really, that's what inquiry is all about, is looking to see where are you in all this. So inquiry is available every moment. That's the beauty of this. You can look right in, whatever's happening is irrelevant. It's just being with what is and staying with it long enough to realize, oh, this isn't what I thought it was. Because it keeps changing. So if something is endlessly changing, what do you call it?
Ephemeral.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
But
could call it infinitely nothing.
yeah, yeah. But that, Peter and Keegan, that's a lot different than the normal conventional way that this is a solid, real world, and there's really a United States, and there's really a Russia, and everything is real. Because that experience is for us is so painful, because it's not seeing the whole picture. There's everything, but there's nothing. The me leaves the nothing part out, and it's only interested in what it thinks is real. It's not interested, what can't do anything with nothing. So why do we say that every appearance is made out of nothing? Because you can go into any appearance, anything. And if you go into it, you won't find what it is you think is there.
Do you think maybe some people don't want to see this because they want to hold on to something?
Yeah, I don't know. It just seems to resonate with a few, and most are in conventional, what we call conventional, you know, and that's perfectly fine. It's just what speaks to you. That was sort of, for me, that was always, well, it didn't, you know, at some point, it didn't really matter if Tony Parsons, you know, or Andreas or Jim Newman or any of these guys, Tim Cliffs, if they were, quote, enlightened or liberated. That didn't help me. It was good for them, right? But it didn't help me. And so I began looking at my own experience, which we can all do. You guys can do right there, because your own experience is available to you 24/7. It's just not thought of as wonder. It's not thought of as magic. But, you know, I can see the guitar behind Alan. I can see the beautiful rug on the ground. You know, I can see, you know, these images, and how are they there? How is this happening? How is this moment appearing? And all these countless forms going about their business. It's a damn miracle.
And it's a shame that instead of seeing that, people want to distract themselves from it.
Well, I would say I wouldn't worry so much about what others are doing. Where are you at with this? That's what, you know, can be shared. Where are you at with what was shared here? How does that hit you?
I was listening to Ken McMorty, who is the author. He actually died last year. He was the principal author behind the Jed McKenna works. And I had the pleasure of exchanging with him personally. Anyway, I was listening to him yesterday, a narrator narrating from those works. And he was saying that the false self, he said something, this isn't an exact quote, but he said the false self isn't standing in for the true self. It's standing in for no self. Because
Wait,
there
what
is
did
no
you say Jed McKenna's real name was?
Ken McMorty, but he died last year.
I love those books.
Yeah, there's some great YouTube. The narrator's got a real knack for capturing some of the essence of what those Jed McKenna works are all about. Pretty fun too. The guy's a very clever and fun. So it's a real enjoyable to listen to just because of his cleverness.
Yeah, I've read a couple of those books and they are entertaining and they're clever. But really for me, it wasn't until Nkosi came along and he was so damn direct. I mean, he was already saying, well, there's already no me there. So there was no reading of books or nothing. Again, nothing wrong with that. If that's what you're attracted to, that's perfectly fine. But for me, I wanted to know, all right, give me the straight shot. I don't want the long way around. What's going on here? And for me, it just so resonated when he said, well, there's art in Nkosi share, there's already not a me there already.
Those books were written actually by sort of a group, but he was a principal contributor. He's pretty direct, but Nkosi was like getting splashed in the face with a bucket of ice water for me a couple of weeks ago.
Exactly. Yeah, Alice and I have talked about it, right, Alice? There's nobody like Nkosi. Somebody just commented on the videos I made of him speaking to the music. Somebody just said they loved it. They just left a comment a few minutes ago saying, just it was so, because hearing his voice repeatedly. And the reason I think it takes so many times hearing it is because we're so conditioned to think of ourselves as a separate individual. That's just so built into the DNA that for someone to come along and say, well, no, there's no individual anybody's. This is all one thing. I often think of like your body. So imagine if my right hand thought it was separate from my left hand, right? And they started arguing. No, I'm the right hand. I'm not you. Well, I'm the left hand and I'm not you. Well, yeah, but they're both the body. They're both the body, which is the way of saying they're both everything. So everything can appear as anything. Now, how are you going to wrap your mind around that? Everything can appear as anything at any time. There's no way to wrap your mind around that. So that's why it can't be known.
Yeah, but if you can wrap your mind around it, that's when the suffering begins. It's like if you can't wrap your mind around it, you're free of the suffering.
Yeah, beautiful, Faith. I like that. Yeah, that's really good because that's kind of, I would say, my experience when I suddenly just couldn't relate to what the thought was claiming. Like I couldn't quite see how this meant, that woman looked at me, gave me a dirty look. That means something about me. Like that just doesn't hold up anymore. So the story, right, Faith, the story can begin to crumble.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, wrapping your mind around it is the beginning of the story.
Mm.
It's the beginning of understanding, which equates to creating a concept.
Yeah, the beginning of knowing, which.
And here's the beauty of this. Oh, I'm sorry, Faith, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. Go
Well,
on.
I was just going to say that some of you have been following the Non-Duality on Facebook, the group. I've been posting John Aston lately.
Mm.
And I really like what he said because it resonates here too, is he said, in a way, you get to have your cake and eat it too. Because you're everything, so nothing's excluded, but yet nothing is you. so nothing ever harms you or touches you.
Yes, just earlier today, I was feeling guilt or shame or something about something that I'd done, and then I stopped, and I sort of waited for something. Anyway, the words came to me. There's nothing happening. It's like your words, Nkosi's words. There's nothing happening, and just somehow that just sort of punctured the guilt. It punctured the balloon of guilt, and I was free. So when Jenny was mentioning that she loves to listen to this sort of stuff, I do too, and yeah, it can be a struggle because I can be off doing in my own mind, but to come here each week, it's like getting refreshed. And I don't know, it does something. And yeah, and you can't put a finger on it and you can't really describe it, but it does something. It does something magical and beautiful. And for me to be able to somehow say to myself, there's nothing happening, when I was in the throes of guilt and shame, there's nothing happening. Well, then I'm free and I love it. But as you say, Michael, other people wouldn't relate. Would they? I mean, it's just us crazy people that get together once a week that it seems to resonate for, and I'm just so thankful. And what I'm talking about, Nkosi's videos that you made originally, I can just listen to them over and over and over, and they're fresh every time.
Amazing.
They never go stale, do they?
It's amazing.
It's the timeless message and it's absolute truth.
And it's clean, isn't it? It's clean and clear. Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you mean. And, you know, there's a sense of confidence, right? A sense of assuredness that when Nkosi speaks, there's just not an ounce of doubt. He's just so congruent. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, he never changes. The message is that when you say congruent, what do you mean? Like it never varies. It's
Well,
always.
Yeah, that too. But I meant congruent is, yeah, his message doesn't vary. And also it's every fiber of his being is on board with this. There's no doubt there. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
When someone's speaking from their head, it just doesn't have the same energy. That's why parroting non-duality phrases doesn't really work. Like a mantra, because so you don't really hear myself or anyone saying, no, you need a mantra. No, we're saying everything you need is available at any time right now. In fact, Dan did a nice little post today. He answered Tanya's question in the non-duality community on Facebook. And every moment is a fresh new opportunity to see this that's here now. So you don't have to go to story. It's the, people in the party next door. It's the bird landing on the roof. It's the carpet. It's just whatever's happening right here and now.
And I suppose what I really like about that is that what could be happening right here and now is I want to avoid listening to Nkosi. I have other things coming up, and that's all that's right here and now too. That there is no right about what's happening right here and now. What I'm saying makes sense. Simply because I thought I should be doing this, I should be doing that, but whatever it is that I'm doing is what's happening right now. And it, you know, it comes from a lifetime of being told what's the right thing to do, that to change that pattern or to look at it differently and really be with what is, regardless of how it shows up.
Yeah. Yes, I really relate to that, Alice, because I'm another one who's been brought up to be a good girl and should do this and you should do that. And it's just such a relief to do nothing. Like I made that comment, Michael, on your on some post, or rather, you just want a relief that you don't have to do anything. And then Kosi comes along and says, there's no right and there's no wrong. It's no good and no bad. Well, wow. So then if there's no good and if there's no right and no wrong, then the mind has got nowhere to go, has it? Mind doesn't know what to do with that, because I think mind is always about making a judgment and labeling it good or bad.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Mm.
And you can feel it. It's almost automatic. You know, when you hear someone else, instantly, I agree with them. Oh, I don't agree with them. Well, the funny part is that isn't you doing either one of those two things.
It's almost like a software, like it's just programmed, like a response is just programmed by the stories in a way.
Mm.
Like we are just some sort of computer almost.
Mm. Yeah.
Well, the thing to see about stories is they're all in the past.
Yeah, aren't they almost like memories?
Yeah, same thing. Past memories. Because this is too present. You can't make a story out of just what's happening. It's too immediate. It's already happened.
Yeah, I think Kosi says the words or the story comes late. It's late to the party.
Every time. Daily. That is so strong though. If you can sense that, if you get a feeling like everything, you know, where's 30 seconds ago? Where's 10 seconds ago? Where did 10 seconds ago? It's different. This every moment is fresh and new and has never arrived before and will never be again. It's just boom, boom, boom. And it's happening so fast that there's no possible story that could ever be told that would be anywhere near the truth.
So getting caught in those stories, isn't that what creates the illusion of time then?
Yeah, if they're believed, because you need time, right? To do anything, you need time. So you could say the me is time.
Even in a biological sense, how we are born and die, right? Time, that's the direct representation of time.
But the funny thing is, again, if you just look right now, can you find time?
Conceptually, you can have an idea of what time is, but I think that's all.
Right, well, you could have a conceptual idea of a banana, but that's not a banana. By the way, thanks, Keegan, because that's a really big one. I would say here, it was realizing that everything I thought was a concept.
Yeah, because I think without the concepts, there's just nothing.
Concepts is the language of the mind. The mind works in concepts. It's the language.
Yeah, have you heard of this one, Peter? Another word I like for it is like every thought or every concept is a signifier. Have you heard this word signifier?
No.
Well, it's like a marker for something else. So as I said, a banana, a concept, the word banana brings up an image of a real banana, but the concept that you're thinking isn't a banana. So it's a signifier. It's signifying something in reality.
Which is why we believe it to be a separate object.
There's asteroids and other rocks flying around in around moons and all over the place. And people never think, well, that asteroid is just decided to, it's decided to take a little orbit around the moon, and and it banged against another asteroid, and it didn't make a sound. Like, it chose to make a sound. It's having a little conversation, so that people think that we live. It's very much like before Galileo, where they thought that it was an Earth-centric solar system. Like, as soon as you think you're so special, you really become unspecial. Like, it's that duality kicks in. So, like, what are the odds? If you look at it logically, it's just so logic. Like, what are the odds that you alone, like humans alone, are this choice-making thing in the universe, and everything else, the animals are all instinctual, all the rocks and everything, they're all dumb. It's just that humans are out, like, I'm deciding to pick things up and I'm making choices. Like, what are the odds of this whole universe? We're looking at this whole dumb universe, and me alone, like, here I am once again, I'm Galileo centric. So it's pretty all comes like, there's not like some big spiritual moment where it's just like wow, all this stuff is just so obvious.
What you're saying is interesting, Thomas, because what scientists do, they try to observe the natural world in order to find answers, but that's the wrong way of going about it. You can't find it by looking on the outside. So science, in a way, is grounded in a wrong way of practicing. That's why it's almost all can be disproven, like the Galileo thing.
If there was a wrong.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, there is no wrong or right. There's just what is. Because, right, you may not like something and someone else may like it, the same exact thing. So who's to say? It just is what it is. If it strikes you as, I don't like this, that's just how it strikes you. If it strikes you that you like it, it's just how it strikes you. But you didn't do that.
And it's annoying and it feels out of control because it is. I think that's the suffering.
Yeah, life doesn't know about control. That's a me concept, control. Because in order to have control, you have to have someone there to utilize that control. Right? Control's only good for somebody.
And not only that, isn't all efforts of control trying to get away from something?
Like control wants things to be a certain way, which is different from things being the way they are.
Right. It goes back to last week, we were talking about the concept of a center, and you, Peter, you commented on that, how that looking for a center, where, what center anyway, like why?
So you could say that there's already nobody there to find or not find a center. Or you could say there's already nobody there to do any seeking, to seek or not seek. There's just what's happening.
Hi, Nkosi.
Hello, Alice. Hello, everyone.
Welcome.
And Nkosi.
Hi.
Nkosi, I was just talking about how everything is it. Everything.
Yeah, even the one who seems to be talking. So nothing is excluded. So everything is it. There's no one who is outside of it who can point to it, because everything is it. There's no separation at all. Even the imaginary separation is also it, appearing as that. So there's no real separation. It's just everything. Asking question, giving an answer, thinking, not getting it, seeking, not seeking, appearing to get it. So everything is this. So getting it or not doesn't mean anything, because it's already it. Everything is it already. Every opinion, every suggestion, blinking, anger, frustration, the imaginary person, imaginary separate self is also everything appearing as that. Trying to get rid of a person, not trying to get rid of a person. It's just this. seeking or not seeking. Even a thought that appears to say there is a real person here. There's a real separate self. That's everything appearing as that. Also looking for something good or something amazing to come out of what is being said is also everything appearing as that.
Even wanting it to be some sort of practice is that.
Exactly. So there's no good or bad here. And there's no here. It's just this, everything. Practice or no practice, what seems to be the journey or no journey is already it. Well, nothing matters to this. Even what seems to matter is also everything appearing as that. Somebody may say, there are no requirements here. Well, I can also say, even when it seems there are requirements, that's everything as well appearing as that. So there's nobody to feel good about anything here. There's just everything. There's nobody to feel good or bad about anything. So what is being spoken or what is being suggested here has got nothing to do with an imaginary separate person. There isn't a you who's looking for this. There isn't a you who can find this because there's only this. So whatever question may seem to come up or whatever answer may seem to be given, it's just everything, wholeness appearing as that. It's just what is. There is no real one, separate one who can get it and become one with it because there is only it. Yeah. That's it.
So that's clearly what you mean by there is no escape.
Exactly.
So even trying to escape is this too.
Yes.
There's nothing to escape from.
You know, as a feeling that I'm a separate me, along with that comes expectations, right? If I'm a me, I'm loaded with expectations about how this moment should be. And if it's not, then I suffer. That's all this imagining that.
We always have to get it right. But what is that anyway? Faith was mentioning this guilt, and all of that comes up from feeling like we didn't get it right.
You know, we can say that this is the infinite appearing finite, but that could never be.
That's only as real as the dreams that we have at night. And we see how real those are.
Oh yeah, no, for sure, Keegan, because you can tell a story. Oh, my dream last night, I was being chased by wild tigers. Oh, my heart was beating. And during the dream, it felt so real. And that's what's happening right now, is we're reporting these dream experiences as if they're really happening. Nkosi talks about, well, imagine a raccoon trying to cross a busy road. Would you fear for the raccoon's safety? No, because it's imagined. There is no raccoon.
Yeah, but I still fear for his safety. Guess I'm just having fun.
Yeah, it's like a game. So there can appear to be, you know, tragedy and there, you know, suffering. It has everything. It doesn't discriminate. It doesn't play favorites. Freedom is free because all expressions are it already.
Well, it's interesting you say it's like a game, because when you're playing a video game, the character in the game doesn't know that they're in a game.
seems to be a lot of raccoon talk. I was listening to Alice and Nkosi's YouTube dialogues. We're talking about raccoons. Is there like, what's with the raccoon thing?
I think that's Nkosi's favorite metaphor, and I love it because when I'm taking myself seriously, I oftentimes think about the raccoon.
Like how are you using it? Is it always a raccoon crossing the road?
It could be for me as a symbolism of something happening in my life. It's just something that maybe he uses with everyone, but he certainly uses it with me, and I get it.
But is the raccoon always crossing the road in the metaphor?
No, he has other metaphors for it.
Yeah, you could say, Thomas, I've heard, right, Nkosi, tigers. So imagine there's a tiger coming up behind you right now. What would you do?
Yeah, you would run.
No, I said imagine a tiger behind you. What are you running from?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, there's no one running. There's just running. And there's no fear. There's no one afraid. There's just fear. And Nkosi has really put an exclamation, like, just like, Bama. Like, I'm listening to some of this stuff, like, wow. Like, there's no one afraid. There's just fear. Super cool.
Very good. That's nice, Thomas, because then if you find stress arising, it's just stress arising. It's not personal. It was never yours. You have no ability to make stress appear or disappear. Any last comments or questions before we close out this evening?
I want to tell Nkosi, you look like a Jedi Master with that collar. It looks awesome.
Yeah, Keegan, did you see the one with the hood? He has one with,
Yeah,
you were
yeah.
wearing
All
the
those
hood.
pictures that you use for your uploads, I like them.
Yeah. The one in Nkosi recently, you had the hood up. I call that one Darth Nkosi.
Yeah.
It's funny.
I call that wintertime in South Africa.
But I have to say the look really suits you, Nkosi. It really fits everything. It suits you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thank you.
between Nkosi and his Darth hood and your red hair as the Joker, I don't know what to do. Thank you, each and every one of you, for coming. We so love and appreciate all of you. Have a great evening,
Thank you,
everybody.
guys.
Thanks,
Thank
Mike.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Nkosi.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.